All right, and welcome to another edition of Versus Live. My name's Corey Baumeister.
I'm Ross Merriam.
All right, and don't forget we are sponsored by StarCityGames.com and Carnox Chairs. Head over to carnox.com/SCG if you want to pick up one of these bad boys. Have you gotten yours yet?
I have not gotten mine, Cedric. I don't know. He hasn't even responded. Granted, I haven't asked him, but it seems like something he should be working proactively on.
Yeah.
You know, we're the stars of the show. Seems like you want to take care of us.
I got mine.
And oh, you did?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. I'm gonna say
I saw the rage in your eyes.
Yeah, if the new guy got his before I got mine, that would be rage-inducing. Of course, now if Cedric ever sees this, he will probably just send you one to spite me.
I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. Speaking of rage-inducing, have you ever been hangry?
I have been hangry.
Okay. If any of you are hangry out there, go to Subway. And speaking of Subway, check out September here that we got going on all month. Anybody who hasn't heard of this, it is 50% off Tier 1 subs. That gets you no ads, no pesky ads. You get sweet emotes. You get Ross's sweet face where he's like... Hopefully, the face he's going to be making today when I just, turn one Griselbrand you or combo off, we're hoping for that reaction all day.
That was a face of joy, though. You're describing situations in which I would have faces of shock and horror, which also exist within the history of Magic. They're more like this,
I feel it's the same face. I feel it's the same face.
No. They're similar, but subtle. They both have a lot of shock in them, but, the...
One has pain in your eyes.
Yes, exactly. There we go. Good description.
All right, Ross, so tell them, what are we playing today?
We are playing Legacy in preparation for the Open this weekend in Syracuse, New York.
Yep.
And so we got a nice little survey of the format. We don't do a ton of Legacy here on Versus Live, but we know that the people who like Legacy really like it. So hopefully this is a day for y'all.
Yep.
And if you're, going to Syracuse or planning to watch some coverage and not super familiar with the format, this will give you a nice overview of what to expect.
100%.
Yeah. I'm going to be playing the fair blue decks of the day, which are really popular. Basically the Brainstorm decks.
Yeah.
And Corey's going to not be playing with Brainstorm, so he's going to have to get really lucky.
Pretty much, yeah. My brain is not really a storm when it comes to Legacy. It's more of like, a shallow mist instead of the storm. So we're giving you the Brainstorm decks.
So you're going to be playing a lot of Griselbrands.
Absolutely.
And a lot of large flying black creatures, really. Griselbrands and Merit Lages.
Honestly, that's kind of my style. I really like the combo decks when you have the tools to push through. I really like the combo decks that can really just get you out of nowhere, set up the combos. I'm going to be playing Sneak and Show, Dark Depths, and then
Rakdos
Reanimator at the end. So, decks that all kind of have the same style. You're just going to be trying to stop me from doing what I'm doing and then win with small creatures or go over the top with Jace. So it should be some good interactive Magic here.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be the one interacting. You're going to be the one hoping no interaction happens.
Yeah, 100%.
But these matchups can get really interesting. I, like you, have played a lot of combo decks in Legacy. I've played a lot of Storm. I've played a good amount of Sneak and Show. And now I'm transitioning into learning the Golgari Depths deck. But I've also played some Delver decks in my day. I've played Legacy for a long time.
Yeah.
This is my way of saying I'm old. So... hopefully I get to show you a few things to do with the fun fair decks.
And you've had some success in Legacy, right?
Yeah, I have, I don't know, handful of top 8s, a lot of seconds.
Okay.
That's the one missing trophy, actually.
You're a bridesmaid, huh?
Yeah, I've got 3 standard and 2 modern or something, or 2 standard and 3 modern.
Okay.
Some split like that, and I've got 3 seconds in Legacy.
Nice. Well, hey, that's impressive. I mean, even top 8s in non-standard tournaments would be nice for me. That's my goal, is to just get out of standard and start branching out a little bit.
But back in the day, we were playing Legacy every weekend. So
okay.
I started with a little Maverick, moved on to a little Elves.
That's true. When it was standard day one, and then the next Open was Legacy, right?
Yeah. So we got a lot of chances, and the format was fun back then. It's different that now we got a lot of cards have made their way into Legacy in recent years. Ren and 6.
Yeah.
Plague Engineer. Force of Negations. A lot of ones from Modern Horizons making their way in. Where you'll see Elvish Reclaimer later on. So definitely some shakeups of the format. Because we don't see a lot of Legacy get played these days, the format moves pretty slowly.
Yeah.
The metagame evolution.
But it seems like there is some impactful cards that came from Modern Horizons.
And then War of the Spark, Teferi and Narset both made their way into Legacy. So And we'll see a lot. We'll see basically all of those cards over the course of today.
So before we get started playing, like, what decks do you think is your initial impression that are like really strong, like maybe the best deck in Legacy? Like, where would you be wanting to go? I know you are going to Syracuse, so like, what's on your brain for best deck?
Right now, I'm on Golgari Depths.
Golgari Depths.
But the metagame is starting to really react to that. We're seeing main deck Liliana's Triumph. We're seeing, a lot of sideboard crop rotations that can tutor for Caracas or Wasteland and break up the combo at instant speed. So we're seeing some people finally react to the Depths deck in ways that I don't think they were before. Mostly they were just reliant on, Wastelands and maybe some sideboard cards or something. Yeah. And, these Depths decks have been really, really good. They sort of supplanted lands as the top dark Depths deck in the format. Lands is still around, but the Golgari Depths decks, the Turbo Depths, however you want to call them, have been a little bit more successful, a little bit more popular.
And the main question, with or without Hogak?
We are not Hogacking when you're going to get to play the deck later on. We played a bit with Hogak a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Maybe just more of a meme.
Yeah. You got to play a lot of weaker cards to enable Hogak. I liked the synergy with Cabal Therapy, but you lose out on a lot of the cool things that the other decks are doing.
It's only banned in Modern, right? They didn't ban it in Legacy. So.
And there are regular Hogak decks, that play Cabal Therapy and Tomb and a lot of the same enablers that you saw in Modern. Yeah. So those decks are around. That they might be good for this weekend. There's a lot that
definitely be fun.
Yeah, we can't hit everything today, but we'll give you a nice survey. We got Rob in the booth today. Say hi, Rob. Hi, Rob. So, he plays along. Way better than Dan.
He's crushing it.
Yeah. He'll be taking all your questions, comments, concerns, and Burns. Make sure you tag at SEG Tour in the chat so he can see, and he'll be sending his favorites over to us.
Yeah. And don't forget, we got a lot of new cards spoiled. Some exciting stuff over the weekend with the new set coming out. Yeah. There is even some new cards that I saw spoiled this morning, that especially one you're going to like. Did you see the Tool for Mono Blue?
What was that?
I didn't see, I completely forgot what the name is, but it's 3 mana on the adventure side, counter target spell, unless they pay 3. It's either counter target spell or non-creature spell, and then it's a 2/2 flyer, a 2/1 flyer as the creature side. So would be a nice little tool for Mono Blue. A counter spell that can also progress.
Mono Blue's losing Curious Obsession and Tempest Gen, so any deck like that it's going to be a completely different deck.
Okay, blue-green flash then.
Yeah.
You happy?
No, it's
that deck's going to live on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tools that are coming in.
That's a card you can play in the Simic Flash deck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, well, anyways, enough talk about Standard. Like he said, make sure to tag SCG Tour if you want to have our questions asked, but you want to get started?
Let's do it.
And I believe in the distance, I see my beautiful marbles. Did you just take them from the other side while I wasn't looking?
I am currently the possessor of the marbles.
I don't remember that.
Our most recent show.
No, I wasn't here.
Yeah, see, I don't know about that.
It doesn't exist to me.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so with you having the marbles, I'm going to be starting.
Yep.
And we got, good old Sneakin' Show versus Temur Delver. Okay.
Classic matchup.
Classic.
This is a matchup that I was playing in 2013 on what was then called the Open Series.
God, you really are just stressing that you are old, huh?
Yes, I'm very old.
Okay, well.
I've taken my heart pill this morning, so don't worry. I'll be fine.
This hand has a specific plan, and I don't think you can possibly mulligan this. I'm no expert, but I think I'm going to keep this.
My hand is perfectly fine, too.
All right, I'm going to go Ancient Tomb.
Yep.
Lotus Petal.
Is this the old turn 1?
I'm going to try. Blue. Take 2. Show and tell.
So if Corey has a force of his own, I'm probably just dead.
I take 2, so I go to 18
and
with this.
If he doesn't, which of these would I rather have going forward? This one's probably rather poor, given that you led on Ancient Tomb, so I'm going to force Pitching Days.
All right, I'm going to force pitching Cunning Wish.
Yeah.
Go to 17. Emrakul. This is a pretty good draw, huh? Your turn.
I mean, if I was on the play, I would have had Force plus Days.
I couldn't beat that. Yeah. Game's over then. Wow.
I am about 99% sure that there's nothing in my deck that does anything.
That better be one heck of a ponder there.
One heck of a ponder. We're done here.
All right. Legacy's fun. Maybe I should book a last-minute flight to Syracuse, huh?
I remember the very first time I played Sneak and Show in a tournament was at an Open, and game 1, round 1, I had turn 1 show and tell with force backup.
Okay.
And so I was like, yep, just jam it. My thing resolves, and comes to find out I'm playing the mirror.
Yeah.
My opponent didn't have a creature in their hand, thankfully, so I won. But that's like the one matchup where you don't just throw out your show and tell.
But I mean, you don't know, so you can't, do
you
that.
have to go for it.
Yeah, but if you do know, is that the play to just not show and tell then?
On turn 1, like, you can still think about it. Depends on depends on how good the rest of your hand is.
Sure.
You know, if I had the Force of Will, so I'd probably try to, like, if I have at least one cantrip, I might wait a turn and see if I can find Sneak.
Okay.
But yeah, seems
risky. That does not seem like an enjoyable mirror match, I have to say.
It's not great. It was better when Gitaxian Pro was legal, because then you could just check.
Oh, yeah. What you got there? That's just cheating, If you're not gambling a little, what's a mirror match,
I'm not a gambling man, Corey.
You're not. Yeah.
Probe was one of my favorite cards.
Okay,
just let me know what's going on.
Fair enough.
Then I can figure it out.
Well, Rob, do we got any questions queued up since that game was super long?
A few standard questions we have.
Nice. That's my wheelhouse.
9921 to know, how do you feel Burn is placed in Legacy right now?
Ooh.
I've never been a big fan of Burn, though with the Delver decks getting a little bit more mid-rangey because of Renin 6, that's definitely good for Burn. I can't imagine you're that good against the Dark Depths decks. That's my problem.
Yeah, it would just be faster, right?
Yeah, they're like faster. They have Duress, which is really good.
Or even this deck, it's like really fast. If I ever go turn 1 Gristlebrand, it's like you don't have a chance, right? I would assume.
Yeah, you're not beating like the real early combos.
Yeah,
you can beat Storm with Eidolon and Sideboard Pyropillar, but
sure,
the ones that are just sort of a 1-2 punch, you have a problem with. And then there's some Stoneblade decks around. I can't imagine Burn is that good.
Yeah, it doesn't seem super well positioned right now. It just seems like Legacy is too fast. If it was like mirror, like Renin 6 Delver mirrors like constantly, it seems like it'd be more acceptable, but
yeah. So like if you're expecting a ton of those fair Brainstorm decks, like 4-color control,
that's what it beats,
Temur
right?
and 4-color Delver. Yeah, I like Burn in those matchups, but I'm not a big fan of Burn in any of like those the other matchups. Even like Mono Red Prison, like Chalice decks. Chalice is rough.
Yeah, seems like it. I mean, they have like, they diversify their converted mana costs a little bit more than like modern Burn, I would assume.
Yeah, they have Price Progress and Fire Blast.
And Fire Blast, yeah.
Big ones, but still, like they have Chain Lightning in addition. They don't usually Rift Bolt, my understanding.
Yeah, so if you're plain and simple to sum this up, if your metagame is expected to be these fair decks, it seems okay, but otherwise I would play something busted.
There's also there's more Hydroblasts around because of Renin 6.
Yeah. This is not a good place to be.
You want to get Hydroblasted when you're playing Burn.
What about one more question before we play game 2 here?
Simona 16. Do you guys think Renin 6 is warping Legacy too much?
I don't think so.
I think it's just a good card.
Yeah.
I actually haven't been a big fan of it from what I've seen in the Delver decks.
Yeah.
I think it's an awkward fit in the Delver decks. It's just such a powerful card that people are playing it anyway.
Yeah.
But
the thing I love the most about Renin 6 that maybe we're just starting to scratch the surface on is just Mox not Mox Amber, Mox Diamond and Renin 6. Like being able to discard to Mox Diamond and then play a land and just Renin 6 on turn 1 and bring it back, like that's disgusting.
Yeah. Maybe these depth decks needs to be splashing some red.
I mean, it honestly makes a lot of sense to me. You get some of the Pyroblasts and stuff like that. So I mean, it seems good.
Yeah, a
good Jund Depths. Add some blood braids,
Broke it.
We did it.
Let's end the show. We got to brew. We got to test this deck.
We got to go. We got to go to the lab here. We got to go, folks.
Thursday Gauntlet, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's get on to game 2
All
here.
Right, let's play some Magic.
I'll get to actually play a relevant turn. That's lucky. Well, I don't think I can mulligan if I have these 4-5 cards, even though the last 2 are pretty bad.
It's probably a bad sign for me.
But we're definitely keeping it.
And we take a peek at my hand. I mean, this just is too much. Having 3 giant creatures with no real way to force through.
That deck has some nice hands, let me tell you.
The converted mana cost total of my hand right now is 40.
Okay. Where are my Ignite memories in the sideboard?
Yeah.
Can I just board into that?
Yeah, whenever the converted mana cost of your hand is 40, I think that's usually pretty bad. I could be wrong. And with 3 cards that are 0.
Okay. We got time for one more question. Corey is mulliganing.
D Tully 84 about your invitational card, Ross. Is Robber of the Rich playable in Modern Humans?
That's your invitational card? Wait, what?
Not literally.
Oh, okay. I was like, do you want an invitation?
So I imagine it is better than a card like Dire Fleet Daredevil. I like the fact that it has 2 toughness against Plague Engineer. So I'm in to try it at least. Deck empties its hand pretty quickly. It's a reasonable source of card advantage. I don't know. You don't have any other rogues, right? Unless you play Unsettled Mariner. So if it dies, you sort of can't play the cards. That's kind of rough. But, I think it seems reasonable to me. I can go either way on it.
How big is the haste to you on that card? Do you think it's like almost unplayable if it doesn't have haste?
Yeah, then it's just worse than Dire Fleet, because it's so much more likely that you get 0 cards out of it than 2 if it doesn't have haste. So that would make it worse than Dire Fleet Daredevil. But because it has haste, then now I think it's probably slightly better. Though the Dire Fleet, sometimes you break up a Snapcaster with a Vial. But haste is also just important for forcing through damage. I'm definitely interested in it, and I'm sure Dylan Hand is too.
I bet. All right, I think I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put a card on the bottom. I think it's between this card or this here. I'm tend to put this because this gives me a clear avenue to be able to put a creature into play. So we're going to go like this and ship it to you.
Does.
Yeah.
And what did you bring for show and tell, Corey?
Oh, you already saw my show and tell.
I brought a tropical island. Corey's like, I brought the Dark Lord Cthulhu. Start on a volcanic island into a delver.
Is that what I sound like, huh?
Yes. That's what you sounded like at 6 years old.
Okay.
In first grade show and tell.
I was a rough kid, I guess, huh?
Just demonically enchanted.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Dominic
pretty standard.
From, Dominic the Exorcist. What movie is that? Or is he the? He's the one that is like has the devil as a friend. That's not the Exorcist. Which movie is it? The Omen is. I don't know. Chat. Chat. I can't remember.
Chat is wise. Chat knows all.
Yeah. Figure it out for me, Chat. I can't remember.
That's the important stuff.
Let's trigger this Delver.
Of course, Flip. He's so lucky. Shocked.
What else would I do?
It's a Delver deck. It's not a.
That's what I was born to do.
It's not a 1-mana 1/1 deck.
Yeah. Cast Ponder. Want to spell pierce it?
I may. I'm gonna spell pierce it.
Okay, I don't know.
Spell pierce doesn't have a ton of value, unless I'm comboing off very quickly. So I think I will do that.
You're at 17.
Go to 17.
You're up.
All right. Let's see here. So if we take a peek at my hand, I definitely don't want to play this right now. I just don't quite have the tools. So unfortunately, we're just gonna go like this and say go.
2 basic lands.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wah, wah.
How lucky.
How lucky.
Let's fire off this brainstorm because my hand's not great.
Okay. I was hoping I'd cut you off your manipulation, but I suppose the deck has about 8 of them.
That is what we call an oof.
Are we brainstorm locked?
It is a fairly large oof.
A collector oof?
Let's shoot for 3.
All right, take it.
You're 14.
Yep.
You're up.
Oh, that is an oof. Okay, this is an oof as well. Your turn.
Back for 3.
I will take it.
That brings you to 11.
11, yep.
Try to hoard Arcanist.
Okay.
You can go.
All right. End step. I'm going to sack for a basic here.
Brings you to 10.
Yes. We dazing?
Nope.
All right. I haven't cast a wish in a long time. I think my last one was the glittery variety. So if we take a peek at my hand here, there's one clear thing we need. So I think we have to start with that. And that would be this.
Be
take a look at our sideboard. So it is just instant.
Just instance.
Okay.
Burning Mishkat Sorceries.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So is that a little before you?
A little bit. A little bit.
That's right around the time I started.
I at least wasn't super competitive at the time.
Yeah. Judgment was the first set I remember following preview season for.
Yeah.
I started around Odyssey. When Torment came out, I had no idea the new set was coming out because I didn't know the schedule.
That's fair.
And,
I'm going to get through the breach.
Good one.
Okay. Untap,
I feel like I'm
draw.
about to get Emerald.
I'm going to hope you're about to get Emrakul. So if we look at our hand, I think we just have one choice here. I mean, Ross is going to be able to start brainstorming next turn, manipulate, kill this land. I don't think I really have a choice. So we're going to go and try to Through the Breach. All right, I got a force. And so I think I'll get rid of...
I'll go to 18, you'll go to 9.
Yeah. What do I want to get rid of? Probably this.
Through the Breach resolves.
All right, Emrakul.
And the Emrakul. So I'm going to go to 3. He's going to die. And then
still anyone's game,
you're going to shuffle your graveyard in.
Yeah. Shuffle
So
graveyard
3 to
in.
9.
Okay. These are exiled, right? Wish gets exiled?
Yeah, Wish is exiled.
Okay.
The Ponder is exiled to Force.
Okay.
And the Emrakul goes in your deck too.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because it gets sacrificed. And that's how it triggers.
Of course, yep.
So, Corey's down to 1 card, and unlike Sneak Attack, like it doesn't leave around the sneak. So he needs both pieces, which is nice.
So now we just have to rebuild, huh? Okay, your turn.
We knew this one, so you're up.
And you're at 3, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just have another Cunning Wish?
What gave it away?
Cunning Wish for Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
What do you got here? Ooh, Sudden Shock, so close.
I know.
So close.
Whoa. Can I get a judge over here for looking through my sideboard?
You could try to just win some clashes. Get me with Release the Ants.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me see that one more time. All right. So I can Cunning Wish right now, and like I said, he's at 3, so Sudden Shock is really close. I think the main option I'm going to be looking for here, none of them are great. I guess Intuition, but Intuition doesn't seem that great right now either. So I think I'm just going to save it and say your turn. Oh.
Go.
Come on, activate that. Go. Ponder?
Sure. This is going to be a tough one if I'm not allowed to crack into fetch lands.
No, you're allowed to. You have 3 life. You can pay one of them to go to 2.
I'm aware.
I'm aware of the rules. Thank you. Well, here, since I have 2 lands, I think I can safely play a land because City of Traders doesn't matter as much. And then pass to you.
Go.
I'll sacrifice. Down to 10.
Down to 8.
Oh, down to 8. Yep.
So, Ross, if you're in this situation in a tournament, you still wouldn't be cracking your fetch. Is this Sudden Shock just a normal thing in these kind of wish decks?
If my opponent picks up their sideboard when they have the 1 card in hand, then...
Well, but I just meant, are you expecting Sudden Shock to be in the sideboard?
Is that a norm?
I don't know. I'd have to study deck lists more closely. But if it were...
I'd be impressed if you wouldn't lose this game. I've lost this game already in a tournament. It's a tough thing to put someone on.
Yeah.
But once again, I'm not a legacy expert. All right, so look at the top 4. These are good Magic cards. I suppose I want...
Get one of them.
I'm going to get one of them. That's for sure. And then the rest on the bottom. All right, and then we'll play a land. And... play a Lotus Petal. Sacrifice. Go down to 7. I will get a Island. And then I will go for... maybe that's not even right now. Yeah, I'll go for a Sneak Attack.
Seems reasonable. If I crack fetch or force, I go into range of the Sudden Shock. So
your turn.
And I have neither, so... and at this point, I'm under enough pressure that I probably have to go for something. So let's crack this fetch, go to 2.
Okay.
Ponder.
All right.
Yeah, because now, even if you don't go for Sudden Shock, you can just go for Intuition and
get 3 Gristlebrand.
Yeah, 3 of any creature.
Yep. Yeah, now we're just Gristlebrand waiting room here. Better be a good ponder. Keeps it. Uh-oh, that's terrifying. Activate?
Sure.
I would not like to put in a creature.
Okay.
Activate?
Sure.
Now I'd like to put in a creature.
Wow. I was really hoping
Trigger?
that you would just draw like a cantrip and cast it so you couldn't kill me if you passed. Because I drew Force of Negation to stop it on your turn.
Sure.
And which was key because it leaves me at 2, so I can crack a fetch. Oh, no, you're at 7. So I needed you to go to... I thought you were at 6.
So I could have just like Cunning Wish during your upkeep then as well, right?
Yeah, which is, most lists usually have 1 Force of Negation, so that's the right way to do it anyway.
Sure.
Though it is weaker against Pierce, but I probably don't have Pierce.
Yeah. And at Pierce I can still pay for it and just get Sudden Shock. And then, I mean, if you have Pierce Daze, then that's the only thing that punishes me, I think. But,
It seems unlikely.
Yep.
Well,
that game was at least more interesting. But
I just getting locked under the Brainstorm was awkward. I started with 2 burn spells in my hand, and
you wanted to shuffle them away.
Yeah, well, like if I had drawn a second colored source instead of the Wasteland, then I'm able to cast burn spells while manipulating my deck, and instead of like every turn I just do the 1 manipulation. And I might have been able to race you if that were the case, or at least get it down to where like I just needed to draw 1 land off the top after they're through the breach to finish you off, something like that.
Yep.
And I could have won that game, but the way like having the Wasteland and never finding another blue source was rough. And then I played if I played Preordain instead of playing the Dreadhorde Arcanist, I might have been able to set myself up better for post-Emrakul, but not really because I couldn't really crack the fetch.
Yeah, you could just get rid of some of those burn spells, but you were getting close to just killing me. I think I kind of had to act the turn I did.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably wasn't going to get there.
Yeah, one of the big dynamics in this matchup is you from the Sneak and Show side gauging how much pressure you're under, and then saying, "Well, I have to go for it now. If they stop me, they stop me."
Yep.
And not being too scared and giving them time to set up the perfects.
Yeah, no kidding. I wanna win in the cheesy ways, not being a legacy master. So, all right. So we are gonna head to sideboarding. Don't forget to get those tier 1 subs in there, 50% off. It's definitely the best time to do it. I mean, if you don't like ads and you like sweet emotes, this is the month to be doing it.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it anyway, you might as well do it when it's half off.
Exactly. So stay tuned. We're gonna take ourselves a short break while we get sideboard going for you. I'm up 2-0 with Sneak and Show. We'll see if that continues after the break. All right, everybody, welcome back here to Versus Live sideboarding here. We are going through the Sneak and Show matchup against Temur Delver here, a constant classic. I'll start with my sideboarding here. I'm bringing in Boseiju, just seems great. Just seems absolutely insane. Being able to, this card has just been giving control players a headache for years since it's been printed. Seems like a great play. Sometimes you want to be taking out lands for Boseiju, but I don't think that's the case in this matchup. Like, I really just think we want to add land counts and kind of consider Boseiju as a spell here.
Yeah.
So we're bringing that in, as well as some more cheap interactions. I'm just trying to force through my spells versus your counter spells just a little bit more effectively. So I'm taking out Spell Pierce because I honestly felt lucky to get, if I get like a Ponder, if I get a Brainstorm, something like that. Otherwise, it seems like it's just pretty narrow since your counter spells are going to be free half the time. And if you ever have 2 mana open, it seems pretty rough.
You're also often holding up your extra mana to pay for my Dazes, my Spell Pierces. So you often don't have mana to pay for them. You already have a bunch of Flusterstorms and Pyroblast, which are better than Spell Pierce in the matchup.
Yep.
So yeah, Spell Pierce seems expendable to me.
Yep, and then Omniscience I think is just not exactly what I need in this matchup. I think like the creatures are so hard to deal with from your side that there's no real point in trying to go even more over the top of this. I just kind of want to play my game plan of sneak attack or show and telling Gristlebrand or Emrakul into play and just call it good there.
Yeah, the Omniscience requires another card on top of it to, get there. You often need a bunch of disruption to force through your show and tell or sneak attack anyway.
Yep. To literally force it through.
So I like cutting those. On my side, we're just bringing in a bunch of good disruption. We got an extra Force of Negation. Okay. Our Spell Pierces are much better than Corey's. And then our Blasts are all good. The red ones, obviously. And then Hydroblast because it stops sneak attack. And potentially through the breach if Corey Cunning wishes for that again. We are cutting Spell Snare, which has exactly 1 target, I believe.
Impulse,
one impulse.
Yeah.
So just 2 narrow. Our Chain Lightning is our worst burn spell. And then Wrenn and 6 is this awkward card. I don't want to spend 2 mana tapping out for this card.
Yeah.
and it just doesn't apply a lot of pressure. So I think this is going to get the cut, as opposed to sometimes you got like Tarmogoyf for True Name, where you're more expensive threats, but this is an expensive threat that also just doesn't apply a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot better if I was a deck that just had more basics, right? Like if you could Wasteland kind of lock me with Ren, but I can just search for basics, and that's very often what I'm going to do because I need all my lands, like search for Volcanic the turn when I actually need the red mana, stuff like that. Stuff where your Wasteland just doesn't really interact in the proper way that you'd really want it to.
Yeah. I could bring in Surgicals as well, maybe trim down on Tarmogoyf and or Lightning Bolt, but I'm not a fan of surgical matchups like this usually.
Seems cute if I like Intuition for the same creature and then play Sneak Attack or whatever, or play Show and Tell. Like that seems kind of good actually. But
you have like what, one Intuition?
Yeah, I think one main, one side, so it's nothing like that's super important.
Come up that often. Yeah, sometimes you can like surgical a creature. If I was more discard heavy in my disruption, then surgical makes more sense. But in order to actually set up surgical, I have to win an initial counter war over one of your threats, and that's a position where like I'm pretty far ahead, and if I just have pressure or a way to close out the game, I'm probably winning anyway.
Yep. Nope, I agree. Well, while we're shuffling up here, White Claw Rob, do you got a question for us?
That can be my nickname now.
We've graduated from intern status to White Claw status.
White Claw Rob.
Casket 13 wants to know, what are your favorite of the 3 planeswalkers from Throne of Eldraine?
What are the 3 exactly?
We have Garruk.
Yep.
The Simic one is Oko.
Yeah.
And then the Royal Scions.
The Royal Scions of the Izzet one.
Is the Izzet one. Okay. I don't remember the Izzet one. I'm not a huge fan of the green blue one, but I really like the Garruk. I just have high hopes that and Tolsmir, the Wolf Lord, I believe that's what it's called. The interactions with that, if we can get like an Abzan ramp deck, maybe even put some Kethis in there just as more of a value creature and a good body. Like I'm really interested in an Abzan shell with Paradise Druid, Incubation Druids, ramp into that as like your top end, Wolf synergies, maybe play the Wolf Lord that flashes in. So I think that would be my favorite, but
I'm an Oko fan. I just want to curve Gilded Goose into turn 2 Oko. Then you just have infinite food tokens, and you just start making them 3/3s that essentially have haste. You can attack down opposing planeswalkers, which is going to be really important. I mean, we've still got War of the Spark around in a smaller standard environment. So attacking Teferis and Narsets, I'm sure, is going to be important, and Oko does that quite well. I do think Garruk is good, too.
Yeah.
I think Garruk is a very solid, very powerful 6-mana planeswalker, runs away with the game rather quickly.
It reminds me of Elspeth a little bit, like where it controls, it has a good negative ability, not as good as Elspeth, and the plus is actually not as good either because it's only 2 creatures, but it is more power than Elspeth. And then admittedly, I was looking at the Mythic Spoiler, and I saw the Izzet Planeswalker, but it was still in foreign language, so I don't know what that one does.
+1, so it's 3 mana. For a 5 loyalty planeswalker. +1, draw a card and discard a card.
Okay.
+1, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike and trample until end of turn. And -8, draw 4 cards. When you do, the Royal Scions deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. So what do you think about that for Modern potentially? Like we were talking about Modern Horizons, people were thinking Dak could be in the set. Could this possibly see play in Modern? I
mean, maybe like a new shell for like, is it Phoenix? But it seems like it's competing at slots of like Aria of Flame and like Narset.
What's the cost on the minus ability again? It's -1 to give it +2/+7 first, right?
No, they're 2 pluses.
2 pluses.
Yes, 2 plus.
But it doesn't protect itself, so I generally think this card is going to be bad.
It starts on very high loyalty, so it doesn't need to do much protecting of itself.
But its abilities are so marginal,
Looting every turn is not bad. I'm lower on this than the other 2. I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, is that a card that we can tap out for on turn 3 in Modern and sit there for 3 turns looting and then try to like fire off an ultimate?
Yeah.
And like kill one thing and draw a bunch of cards. Like, but there's plenty of cards in Modern that allow you to do this. Like, how does this card compare to Jace? Not that well.
No, and I mean, like, honestly, the only kind of shell where I could see it being reasonable is like a blue-red prison deck, like a blue-red Whir deck where it's actually you can tick up, without protection or with protection with like bridge in play and then maybe get to it. But even that seems like really bad.
Ultimating it with bridge in play and drawing 4 cards might not even be good.
Yeah, exactly. No, so I think that card's bad, but I think we're going to see Garrick and
Oko.
Oko. No, Yoko Oko? Yoko
No,
Ono?
just Oko.
Okay, that's less fun, but yeah.
No ruining of bands from Oko here.
Yeah, but good question, though. All right.
I'm on the play here for game 3, and I've got a kind of slow hand, but it's a lot of manipulation. Wondering if I'm supposed to mulligan this.
Yeah, and mine is definitely an interesting hand. It has a few problems, but it might be good enough. It might be worth it on the draw here. This is one I'm really not sure of. I think I'm going to keep for science.
Okay, I'm also going to keep it. This is borderline on my side.
Yeah, same.
We'll start with the preordain.
That resolves.
And I think this one will be fine, but we'll definitely bottom the other one.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. Untap, draw. Not exactly the draw we wanted here. So we're going to go island and pass it to you.
Okay. I will play a polluted delta.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
Well, that's an interesting one. All right. Beseiju.
Yep.
Lotus Petal.
Response to Lotus Petal.
Okay.
Brainstorm.
Yeah, that seems fine. I had a consideration for making a play here, and maybe I should have, but
definitely want to put some lands back since we don't need them.
Makes sense.
And this is weird because I don't have an answer to that Beseiju yet. So I want to just aggressively stop Corey's mana.
Whatever you can, yeah.
So I'm actually going to Spell Pierce this Lotus Petal. Going to get a trop.
And I need to protect my mana right now, and I don't have to protect my spells that matter. So we're getting in weird counter magics over really silly things because of Beseiju here. So maybe I actually should have... I 100% should have played Lotus Petal first and then Beseiju.
Yeah, I would have not blinked at Lotus Petal if you hadn't played the Beseiju.
Yeah. Mistakes were made.
Okay, definitely can't stop a, what is that, four copies
that
of
was a lot.
Storm?
Yeah, your turn.
Petal, Brainstorm, Pierce. And I'm at 19.
You're 19, yep, and I'm still at 20.
Okay, well, still got some shots to get a Wasteland here, and hopefully we can hit, because otherwise I'm in trouble. Let's ponder.
Sure. Yeah, Wasteland is would be quite good.
That is not a Wasteland, and that's basically all I'm searching for now, because I don't have enough pressure to erase this Beseiju.
Yep. Well, the Beseiju is not going to kill you, I promise. It'll kill me before it kills you. But its little friend, show and tell class, might have something to say about it.
Yeah, that might be a problem. Okay, let's draw off this Ponder.
All right. Wasteland off the top.
That's not the one that goes to the graveyard.
That'd be a horrible spell.
Let's Ponder again.
Yeah, seems fine. Don't think I want to try to start fights over Ponders when he's looking for one specific card. The likelihood of it just being a one blue cycle is pretty high.
Yep.
But our hand over here is not great. I won't lie, it's not great right now. It's missing some stuff.
Okay.
All right, blind draw.
Play a polluted delta and pass the turn.
All right. Okay, we're going to start off the same and fire off a Brainstorm.
Force. Pitch Force. I'm at 18.
Makes sense. I think I'm going to fight over this as well.
Yep.
All right, Brainstorm. All right, cards to put back here. We don't really want this card at all. So that's a for sure. And now, what don't we want to have in our hand? probably this. I don't see myself casting that immediately. So we're going to put this on top as well. Play a Volcanic Island and pass to you.
Okay, I will play a Brainstorm.
Brainstorm. That resolves.
That was pretty good. So we definitely want to keep... We have to put 2 back, so we get to keep 4 cards here. We definitely want to keep this. We want to keep this. We want to keep this. And we probably want to keep that. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So let's... let's put those back.
Okay.
Let's waste your Beseiju.
That's lame.
And
Not a fan.
Crack this fetch. I'm going to get another Volk and play Dreadhorde Arcanist. Start recouping some of this card advantage. So that was an excellent Brainstorm.
That was pretty solid.
And that'll bring me to 17. So we got 17 to 19.
17 to 19, yep.
And I'll pass a turn.
All right, we'll untap here. All right, we knew what we were going to draw. We're going to fire this off as well. Brainstorm.
Interesting. So your Brainstorm locked right now. And you couldn't kill me last turn even with the Beseiju.
Yep. These are facts.
And I'm drawing a bunch of extra cards every turn. I think I'm supposed to counter this. This is kind of aggressive, but yeah, let's force. I'll go to 16.
All right. And our hand is very reliant on this resolving, so we're gonna counter that.
Yep.
All right, draw. All right, now at least we can shuffle away some of these bad cards, but this is not exactly what we wanted.
We've traded a lot of resources this game, which is generally good from the fair side, and now I have a source of card advantage to start pulling ahead.
Yep. That seems very scary for me.
We don't have a ton of pressure on Corey's life total, but if we draw some disruptive elements, we should be fine.
We're going to put these 2 back, play a Delta, and pass it to you. Arcanist definitely going to be showing off its chops here. Arcanist is great right now.
I will attack and cast a Ponder.
Okay.
Whoops. Yeah, definitely draw this. We got plenty of mana.
All right, that scares me. I'm down to 18.
Got 18.
Now, our real question is Ross going for more disruption here, or if you're looking for a threat to try to close the game.
Maybe I'm supposed to draw the other one, actually. This is tough. I'm just trying to maximize my looks without while being able to eventually set up Brainstorm shuffles later on.
Yep.
I'm a little, sort of a little flooded at this point, but not really because the game has just gone on for a while.
I love that 3 lands is flooded in Legacy.
Yeah. It is
what a time to be alive, yeah.
I
have a Beseiju drought right now, so that's the big thing on my end.
I think I just want to see the most cards. I'm going to crack this.
Okay.
So I'm at 15.
Okay.
Which is a little awkward.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice life total.
In Emrakul range, but...
Sounds cool to me. Emra cool. Are you impressed?
I'm not. Let's ponder.
I was impressed.
Thanks, Rob. Let's get some F through A ranking on that joke, chat. I sense a lot of Fs.
So I could just go for pressure here and hope Corey doesn't have it rolled up right now. I sense that he had one piece but was missing the other. I'm not sure if he found it off that Brainstorm. He only saw 2 extra cards off the Brainstorm because he knew the top one, and one of them I know was Delta. So he would have to find the other piece either in that one card I didn't know about or his next card, because I assume he'll be cracking that.
So the real question is, you feeling lucky, punk?
So if I do this way, then we get to kill you in 3 turns.
Did I get a lot of Fs, Rob?
Your
Well,
average is looking like a C right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, just my same as in high school.
There's some
Sweet.
Fs, but
I think extra pressure is worth it, so we'll keep on top
Nice.
and we'll play it over.
My same GPA rating in high school. Perfect.
I even gave you a B if that makes you.
Ooh. Yeah. If Ross would have made the same joke, it would have been a D. Right, Tannen? All right, so we're going to fetch for Volcanic here, putting ourselves to 17. Just to shuffle away those dead cards. We're going to untap. It's a big draw. Not bad. Not bad. Not the greatest. Your turn.
Okay. Upkeep triggered over.
Yep.
Show you a lightning bolt.
Okay.
Go to attacks.
I'll take it.
Attack with both, trigger ponder.
Sure.
We know the top card is not particularly good.
Were they all bad? Oh my god. Well, what would you like to keep? It can be a Goyf marathon here.
Well, you're going to end up going to 13. This does represent lethal next turn. So I either take a random draw and hope for a piece of disruption to stop your top decks, or just cut you off of a draw.
10.
Because
Tarmogoyf's a 6?
Tarmogoyf's a 3, and then I have Bolt. So I would play Goyf and then Bolt you, and then flashback Bolt with the Arcanist.
Oh,
13.
okay, yep. So 6,
That's 13 exactly.
Yep, you're right. That is a one-turn clock. That's
So
reasonable.
So I think I'm supposed to keep still. So I guess
Yeah.
the Tarmogoyf wasn't actually that bad.
Yeah.
I was just looking for disruption, but instead I found pressure.
Okay.
So like sort of disruption. It just trades for like the bottom cards instead of the cards you're about to draw. So yeah, you're up.
Okay, so now the
I'm
real
dead if you got
question is, so now the real question is, if I find Emrakul and I'm just going to block Tarmogoyf, can I still live? 4
Yeah,
plus
you would
6,
live at
10.
3.
I would live at 3, so I can sack this as well to thin my deck.
Well, you might not want to do that if you end up drawing like cantrips, like a brainstorm or something, right? Or a ponder.
That's a good point.
Ponder into another cantrip. I think that.
Well, that doesn't matter because I need it next turn anyways, right? Wouldn't I rather just
you have
thin?
5 mana, so you can cast 2 cantrips and still show and tell. And so if you draw a cantrip, you can cantrip into cantrip, crack fetch in between, and see more cards that way. They're both
Sure.
really tiny variables.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm generally of the ilk that like cantrip into cantrip is more important
Okay.
than the one card here.
I'll trust you. You're more of a expert on Legacy than I am, so we'll just do one. It was an Emrakul. Got him. I'll pass to you.
Bolt you on end step.
Okay. What are you gonna draw, bud?
I don't know.
I'm down to 10. I'm not out of the... Well, I guess, yeah, this is lethal, but you can block it. So we're not out of the woods here. You have to lose 7 permanents then because of Emrakul. Because you would have to block with Insectal Aberration. And now the question is, do you want to attack with Arcanist because you want to see cards? God, that was lucky. Hey, thanks for having me not sack that fetch land, buddy. You are really a true friend.
Classic skill play.
See, you know what I was telling you about the emote that you'd be seeing in real life? That's it. That's the face. Except there's some pain in your eyes, so. This is a tough spot because throwing away an Arcanist does put you down in permanence here. So if Ross throws away Arcanist here, you're hoping to draw another creature? No? No, I don't think that's good. Yeah, I think you might be in just a losing position here.
Send with both of these flashback preordain.
Okay. Preordain resolves.
Bottom this, draw the top one.
May I block?
Yeah.
I'll block. Go ahead.
You take 1, go to 9.
9, yep. Okay.
You're up.
So now if you sack... How big are those Goyfs? So you have to sack 1 anyways. Okay, so we still got this. All right, we're going to play a land and attack. Annihilator.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Okay. Yeah, I had the little help.
But and I did 1 more permanent there to maybe squeak something out.
Yeah, and there's really... Honestly, you know what would have been insane there? Ren and 6. Because it would have gave you 2 permanents. Not that it's good, but that is like the only thing in your deck that could have gave you 2 permanents at this point. So it's kind of awkward there, but all right, we're at 53. What do you think? We got time for one more game, or should we?
No, because that's 3-1 already, right? Or it was 3-0.
Yeah.
That game just went on forever. I thought I was winning it.
Yeah. Well, it depends. If we have anything like game 1, we have time for like 6 or 7 more games, but anything like the rest.
The other games might be a little long, Legacy is with all the shuffling, long games, but impressive showing from Sneak and Show.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. What do you think of this matchup? You think it seems normally tough? I
think it's close, and Sneak and Show is a little favored now because of the way the Delver decks are built.
Yeah.
It's a little bit better when you're Temur instead of 4-color. So like making your mana base worse and playing Abrupt Decay is bad in the matchup.
Yeah.
So you do get maybe a little bit better sideboard if you have some discard spells. I think the Temur list is just a little bit leaner, which is what matters, like being able to put some pressure on. Like I kept a hand without any pressure, and if I had something early, I probably would have closed the game out in time.
Yeah.
At least probably would have just won with an Alpha Strike on the last turn.
Sure.
If I had dealt a little bit of damage early. Because like if I get just attack and bolt you on that last turn, I leave you at 3. So I was 3 damage short of winning through an Emrakul.
Yeah.
And so I just needed that little bit early to
and I had
cut you
the
off of the
force
6
to
outer.
help a little bit there too, but yeah, I think it would have been. Obviously, I just got lucky top decking, but I kept a hand of like triple force, show and tell, Lotus Petal, land, and Flusterstorm. So it's just all ways to push through. It seems bad on the play. I for sure would mulligan, but on the draw, I think it was interesting because all I need is that hand can go slow because I had so many ways to interact with you. But I don't know. Would you keep that?
You said triple force, Flusterstorm, 3 lands.
Triple force, Flusterstorm, Lotus Petal, land, and show and tell. So I had one piece of the combo, and then the
problem is you have no way to dig through your deck.
Yeah.
You're just like really relying on the top of your deck, and you need extra mana and another piece.
Yeah.
So you need 2 things.
But I just figured I could go so slow and that I was going to have time with how much disruption I had. But yeah, maybe that was just a little loose.
Yeah, you don't really want to be in a position where you have to force a Delver Secrets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I was going to be in that position if you played an Arcanist on 2. I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that on 7, that's a mulligan.
Yeah.
But still, worked out. You were able to win a long game because I didn't have that pressure. So
exactly.
that gave you time to, draw through your deck, sculpt your hand a little bit.
Yeah, but if you just go Delver, upkeep, brainstorm, then Delver again or something, I'm just like, you got it, let's go. But yeah. Well, it looks like we got time for a couple questions here. Director Rob, you got any good ones?
Yeah, we got a few here.
All right.
Papa John's Napkins wants to know
I still love that one.
Shimmer Dragon as a possible control finisher post rotation. Have you seen this card?
I'm not sure what
I have
this
not.
one is.
It is 4 blue, flying for a 5/6 dragon. As long as you control 4 or more artifacts, Shimmer Dragon has hexproof. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Draw a card.
In standard, we're thinking?
Standard, yes.
The thing is, what good artifacts do we have right now? It's just not that great, right? There's just not a lot of them that would make it good.
We've seen that legend too that costs less for how many artifacts you have and can recast artifacts from the graveyard.
Food tokens are also artifacts.
So there's clearly some theme here with artifacts. Food tokens will help that out.
Okay. I could see something with the blue-green planeswalker, something like that.
Certainly generates enough. So maybe that's your high end when you're ramping with maybe you have the Simic deck that plays Gilded Goose and Paradise Druid,
sure,
and food tokens, and tries to just sort of ramp out something.
Sure.
Ramp out some stuff.
Even in a deck like that, when we were out to lunch this morning, we saw the blue-black serpent. The flash blue-black creature. It's like a 6/6 or something.
The Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, the Loch Ness Monster. Something like that appeals more to me, even in that deck. You're describing, a blue-green deck, but if you're playing Paradise Druids, the mana base is not that bad to just play Sultai and play something like that. Just because of the keyword flash, I think the card gets so much better. I'm much more excited to see where that card can go because it kind of reminds me of Torrential Gearhulk, where it doesn't have that immediate card advantage. Like, you have to work for it a little bit, but being able to flash it in and not only block something like Gearhulk did, but have that ability to sacrifice some lands to, and I thought it was lose a life, and I still thought the card was good, but to gain a life, draw a card to refill when you were flooding a little bit, or just have the ability to bring it back. Like, that seems like a perfect 2 of in that style of deck, where the card we were describing now, playing it in main phase and having to make it better, it's relying on something instead of, it just has, exactly, besides being a standalone, is a lot more enticing to me in our current standard than what that card would be personally. But
you're going to need you're going to need a pretty large number of ways to generate artifacts in order to make this card good.
Yeah.
I do think it's quite good if you can do that. Tap 2 artifacts, draw a card is like
insane,
really powerful, and you can do that immediately.
And it's hexproof, so you won't be able to.
So you won't be able to remove it.
Yeah.
The question is whether or not we have enough enablers. Usually that doesn't happen in small set standard.
Yeah.
So that's a card that you might need to keep your eye on as we get more and more sets. We'll get more artifacts coming around.
Buy early. Buy it early. Speculate on that, maybe.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we see a lot of that card, early in 4 set standard, but I would not be surprised if we see it in 7 and 8 set standard.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And speaking of small set standard and big set standard, how hyped are you to go back to small set standard?
That's not a big difference to me. I appreciate them both for what they do. Because I'm a fan of really heavily synergistic decks.
Okay.
And the big set, big standard usually lets those come out.
Sure.
I think this one was a little heavy-handed in that they just gave vampires this very busted card if you just had a bunch of vampires.
Yeah. Wait, it wasn't heavy-handed. It was Kethis Master Hand. Wait, was it Master Hand or Kethis was it was Hidden Hand. It wasn't Master Hand. It was the Hidden Hand.
Yeah, the Kethis deck ended up being kind of busted, but I like seeing things like that. Small standard can be kind of fun.
Yeah,
I just like post rotation because you get to sort of figure everything out again.
Yeah,
and I like looking for the cards that weren't good when they were first printed that are now good in this new context.
Yeah.
So I appreciate them both.
Yeah, for me, being somebody who definitely loves standard more than any other format, it's pretty close between new standard when standard rotates and Christmas Eve. It's very those 2 holidays for me are very comparable for my year. But
you're also a fan of playing those just mid-range decks, powerful cards, and they tend to dominate in early standard. Golgari was the best deck in the fall, right? Most successful over that season.
Oh yeah,
and that was just sort of a good card deck with the small Wild Growth Walker synergy.
Yep. Needless to say, I got some things ready to be cooked up for maybe future versus live, maybe even this week. Who knows? Who knows?
We'll definitely be working on that.
We got one more?
Oh,
yeah. Only one more.
Yeah.
Fabman wants to know, what do you think of Mono Red post rotation with Robber the Rich in standard?
Card's good. I mean, Red's trying to get cards out of its hand pretty quickly, so that ability is going to be relevant often. The problem I see with Mono Red is really good when you have 2 powerful creatures on each curve, and we just haven't seen enough cards where those requirements just aren't met yet. So I don't know how well it's going to be positioned. Mono Red seems like it's always going to be there in some regard, but that card's powerful.
Yeah, definitely a powerful card.
Yeah.
If you want to read about Mono Red, that was part of the article I wrote this week. I believe it is up now. I haven't checked the website, but it generally is up on Tuesday. This is before Robber the Rich was previewed, so no talks of that one just yet. And I'll echo what Corey said. You need good spots on the curve, and right now Mono Red is lacking in 1-drops.
Yep.
Both of the ones that you have seen a lot of play are rotating, and Gitu Lava Runner and Fanatical Firebrand.
And Firebrand just wasn't good anyways. That's one reason why Mono Red wasn't that great. Firebrand just wasn't a good 1-drop. It was just serviceable, but
good at enabling light up the stage.
Yeah, but think of last standard. It was Bomat Courier and the 1-mana 2/3.
Mono Red was easily the best deck then. So we took a step back from that. So right now you're looking at the 1/1 that pings the Planeswalker player when it attacks, Scorch Spitter, and there's another weak one, fairly weak 1-drop, and that was my concern with the red decks. And especially if you're playing a card like this, when you need your hand to be smaller than theirs, you need to be playing cheap spells.
Yeah. Yep.
and you need to empty your hand. So this is a card that even more depends on having good 1-drops that you can use with it, and maybe even some extra rogues.
Yep.
So if we see that filled in, then this is a really powerful card. If not, then not so much.
Yep. And one thing we're seeing that we kind of saw in Standard here recently, like Jund Dinos, compare the matchup from Jund Dinos to Mono Red. Jund Dinos smashed it because the creatures were just so big that they couldn't get through it. And I've seen some pretty big creatures in this set so far. 3 mana 5/5 that can block, if you adventure out a 1/1, it can attack. The Questing Beast or whatever, the one that has Questing Beast, which has 18 words, 18 keywords on there, and none of them are drawbacks.
The next card I had a question about.
Yeah. Well, we'll touch on that a little bit. That card is broken. If you're questioning if that card's good or not, that card is broken.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll get to any cards you want. We got to take a break right now. 5 minutes, guys.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Perfect. We'll be back with match 2. We'll get some Golgari depth against 4-color control. Don't go anywhere.